I'm announcing today that upon taking office, we will have an Operation Aurora at the federal level. And I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act.
I'm no criminal. I need to come back in my home.
Behind these walls,
he came into the U.S. seeking a better life, and this was his dream.
thousands of people are waiting in the shadows of their dreams.
He came during an administration that was promising him hope and then got him stuck in a glitch in the system.
Uncertain if America will open its doors or close to keep them out.
What made you want to be an ICE agent?
Well, initially we were called INS agents, and so the last part of that was service.
Many of the stories you've seen during our traditional newscast center on this place, the Aurora ICE Processing Center. I myself requested a tour of the processing center and was denied that opportunity by Homeland Security. But the truth is, with all the people stuck behind those walls, their stories aren't stuck there. Over the next half hour, I want to walk you through some of those stories.
We start with a familiar one.
My name is Jeanette Vizguerra. I'm activist for immigrant rights, local and national level.
Vizguerra first came into the U.S. in 1997, fleeing violence in Mexico City. She settled with her 4 children in Colorado, and in 2017, while facing deportation, she sought sanctuary in a church for 86 days before being granted a stay.
In 2017, I'm recognized the Times Magazine, the one person more influence in the world for my work for protect my community. I'm not criminal. I'm one mom, I'm grandma. I like only protect my community.
I talked to Vizguerra in January 2025 about the Trump administration's removal of a sensitive areas guideline, which restricted immigration enforcement in places like schools and churches, like the one that protected her. She had strong words for President Donald Trump.
All years I'm living here and pay taxes. Donald Trump no pay taxes. My charge for entering the system is one misdemeanor. Trump have 24 felonies. Who is the real criminal?
2 months later, in March 2025, Vizguerra was detained. Through a video call, she shares what happened that day.
I'm working in the parking lot at my job. I try go in my car, later come in the different size, different agencies. The ICE. Regular cars don't have identification. They are ICE agencies, only one person. My first question for this guy says, you have the warrant? You have the warrant? Say no. He put the regular chains, the hands and my feet. And continue to talk to these guys for my warrant. Never show me the warrant. My family alert the community. Half time the community right before bring me here in jail.
Free Jeanette! Free Jeanette!
For months, every Tuesday, the community has rallied outside the GO ICE Processing Center in Aurora, demanding Vizguerra's release.
This is not criminal. For what I'm staying here only for my political opinion. This is enough. It's enough. It's 8 months. My family need me.
Do you think that you will be able to come home someday?
Yeah, this is my hope. I'm praying for I come back in my home. And this moment I'm emotional. My daughter Luna, they take my position in the community. Fight very strong for me. She in November leaving for service to country. Go in the Air Force. Idea is go in the Army or the Air Force. Did you mom is here?
Through her tears, Vizguerra encouraged all people currently detained in ICE facilities.
Continue fight. Your family needs you. Never stop.
Right outside the ICE Processing Center in Aurora, where Jeanette is being held.
How does it feel being back here?
Yeah, you know, I My heart breaks for the families that are in there right now, having to go through the same process that I have been through.
Alexandria Dow thinks about the day her family was forever changed.
What's your husband's name?
My husband's Ariel Cruz Penton. So it kind of started a long time ago when he first entered the U.S. He entered at the border and pleaded political asylum.
Dow says he was initially granted asylum, but when he signed papers allowing him to fight his case outside of detention, he didn't know it, but he gave up his right to asylum and an order of deportation was issued.
My husband was able to have a working permit and was able to be here through that process, just going to immigration check-ins every single year. So this year, we went to his immigration check-in in May, and I honestly was very nervous about it. And then 3 weeks later, out of the blue, he dropped off our daughter at daycare and he went to go check out a home for a side renovation job that they were going to look at. 3 unmarked cars came, pulled up, blocked him off, and had him get out of the car and arrested him. My husband has no criminal record, not even a speeding ticket to his name.
After searching for her husband for hours, she finally found him.
He was here at the Aurora Detention Center. I remember waking up super early before work and trying to take my daughter just so she can see him. And again, it's through a glass window and a phone, like the movies.
How did you explain all of this to your daughter?
She doesn't know. I have to tell her that her dad's at work, and I think that's the hardest part, but I'm also so blessed at the same time because I don't want her to have to deal with the emotional toll that I've had to deal with.
Ariel is no longer here at this facility.
Yeah, so he was taken to a detention center in El Paso, Texas. I maybe got 2 phone calls with him before he was actually deported.
For days, Dow didn't know where her husband was.
All of a sudden, I get a phone call and he's in Mexico in the middle of nowhere. He has his phone. He has no ID, no money, nothing. And so I had to fly out there on the 4th of July.
Your husband is deported to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
He's not from Mexico. He is Cuban.
Yes. So it's really concerning that people are able to be deported to places that they're not even from. But if I'm being completely honest, Cuba is not safe either. And Mexico's a place where I can go and visit him with my daughter, which I'm really blessed. And at least it's a Spanish-speaking country, right? Yeah. So at least he can do that as well. But it's still not a safe place for him. His dream was to live in a place where he can be free and work hard and find a family. And he always tells me every day, like, he's living his dream. And then when this happened, it was just taken from him.
Andrea Loya, executive director of Casa de Paz, says behind these walls, a lot of American dreams have been deferred.
Casa de Paz is a nonprofit organization, and we focus on the folks who are detained, and we assist them as they're released from the immigrant detention center. It definitely has changed. We actually saw a drastic drop in people who were being released. We went from seeing 60 to 100 people in a day to seeing 3 to 6 people a day.
Andrea, there are some who would say because you're seeing releases, the system is working.
I think for sure there's hope in seeing the releases because that definitely keeps us going and seeing people actually being free. But the system is far from working. It is working for those that may find themselves right on time having the monetary resources for it.
And Loya says the system has been broken for decades, from one president to the next. She says one of her clients' experiences perfectly reflects the nuance.
He had actually, his wife was already here. His wife was in New York. His wife had done all the work and all the legal process to request for him so that when he arrived at that border, he could just meet his family. And that did not happen. He was detained for over a year. And released the day after the election. And he was now even in more fear.
It comes during the Biden administration, after a year, because of a glitch in the system of being detained, he gets released into the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Where are you seeing the greatest numbers of enforcement in terms of geographical locations in Colorado?
On the outskirts, in the mountains areas. That there's a lot of ICE activity.
Why in the mountains?
There's a lot of labor up there that I think immigration understands.
Next, we head to Colorado's high country and farmland.
We actually went to work release to hire people to work because we didn't have enough people even apply.
where the law and livelihood collide.
Every time it was tough. Especially since some in the community that I arrested, I have similarities with.
And to look behind the lens, as a member of our Denver7 family was privately navigating the very system he was documenting for others.
You're covering protests.
Yeah.
You're covering stories about immigrants who are facing deportation. Are you kind of putting aside your own personal experience?
It's hard, you know.
The waiting state continues after this break.
My own mother was deported back in the early 90s in the Western Slope. She was working in Aspen, Colorado, took a bus, and many workers that evening were picked up in an actual raid. We're well aware of what that trauma feels like or the disruption that ICE raids create.
Alex Sanchez is the executive director of Voces Unidas de las Montañas, a nonprofit that supports the growth and education of Latino and Latina leaders.
Unfortunately, when there are crises, such as COVID, wildfires, or ICE raids, we meet our community where we are, and we have been creating infrastructure and supporting our community since January 2025 as it relates to immigration enforcement in the Western Slope.
Sanchez says the increase in enforcement comes at a time when Summit County, home to world-renowned ski resorts like Breckenridge, Keystone, and Copper Mountain, face a hospitality labor shortage.
Western Colorado cannot exist without the labor force, and Latinas and Latinos, restaurants, construction companies, the ski industry, agriculture, every segment is struggling to find a willing labor force and enough to be able to meet the demands that we have today. The solution is not less workers. The solution is we need more workers.
Ski area and resort companies like Vail Resorts recruit immigrants with the promise of H-2B visas, a visa for temporary non-agriculture workers. But the visas are only good for 1 year, and not all workers are given the option to extend. Over 100 miles away, in Greeley, Colorado farmland.
We really do take care of our employees. We have 1,000 people on a waiting list.
On a waiting list to work here.
Farmer and owner of Hungenberg Produce, Jordan Hungenberg, who operates one of the only carrot farms in the U.S., says it wasn't always this way.
2017, we actually went to work release to hire people to work because we didn't have enough people even apply, and we advertised now hiring everywhere we could. Yeah. We hired from work release every day, and that was the reason that we quit growing cabbage, was because we figured we're never going to have enough labor.
Hungenberg says immigrant workers filled the gap as the farm upped carrot production.
They're good people. The work is hard, but not too hard. You show up, it's simple. Like a lot of it's not, we're putting carrots in a box, we're boxing stuff, we're palletizing stuff, we're wrapping pallets, and it's just continuous work.
In Colorado, state law mandates farm workers work 40-hour weeks and are guaranteed overtime.
They love to work 10 or 12-hour days, and we're here with them. But at the end of the day, when you're paying, $30,000 or $40,000 of overtime every week, it just eats away. It's a lot.
$30,000 or $40,000 a week?
Hungenberg says overtime costs mean he can't hire as many workers, but the employees they do have are grateful for the work.
I would say that in other countries, South America, often spots in Mexico, they are making in an hour here what they make in a day down there. That's coming straight from some of our workers.
Decades ago, Jesus Garcia had a much different experience.
My grandparents, Natalio and Juanita Nolasco, came from Mexico in 1918, and they were summoned by the federal government, U.S. government, to come help the farm worker, the beet producers in northern Colorado, near Greeley.
In the 1950s, Jesus found himself in the produce fields as well.
What is your earliest memory of working in the fields?
Probably 6 years old. I was picking green beans in Fort Lupton. I was in first grade.
And you would start at 5:30 in the morning?
5:30 in the morning, probably from the fields, but we probably earlier to get there, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes from Denver area to drive there. There were no areas for drinking water. There were no restrooms.
Did you ever have a moment where you felt like my experience as a kid in Denver is different than others' experiences as a kid?
Very, very different, because we were not treated, because we gave up our childhood. I felt that we were not considered as children. We were considered as workers. My older brother, he's passed on, but he reminded me that you're smart, you can get out of this. He took me aside, I was 9 years old, and took me aside, you're going to get ahead.
Garcia wrote a memoir documenting his time as a child laborer. He says those experiences speak to the current moment.
We don't value people who work with their hands and produce, even though we provide the food, sustenance for our tables. There is a lot of irony.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Coming up, two people on opposite sides of an immigration story.
There were some individuals who viewed me as a sellout, and that was sort of the term that was used at times.
You've probably never been in front of an immigration officer.
No, I haven't.
If they don't like you and they have the power to decide, I don't like you, denied. It's not easy.
When the waiting state continues. When we see images and videos like this, the narrative often centers on the person being detained. But what goes on in the mind of the officers who are doing the arresting?
Every time it was tough.
This retired ICE agent, whose identity we are shielding due to the kinds of cases they worked on, spent 2 decades working for Homeland Security. They sat down with us to walk us down their career path and share their thoughts on the state of the agency today.
Well, what stood out initially in my initial assignment was, of course, the agents that I worked with. We were all on the same boat, ethically and lawfully, and our leadership was that as well. When I transferred to another office, it was obvious that it was leadership that dictated that environment. But by that time, I felt it was too late for me to leave. What I noticed in the system is the leaders, whoever is leading that particular field office or district office, as it was called, would dictate how the individuals worked. So there were a couple offices I worked in where the leadership was unethical, and consequently the troops were that as well.
You're dealing with things like deportations, removals. Those are already really tense situations. Was that tough?
Every time it was tough. Especially since some in the community that I arrested, I have similarities with. So of course it was tough. Because of those similarities, some individuals in custody would latch on to me. And of course I understood that, and I would either speak in their language or I would culturally be able to identify with them. However, sometimes there were some individuals who viewed me as a sellout.
What do you think about the current state of ICE?
Well, it's obvious what's driving these agents. We have senior agents, journeyman federal agents on the street conducting street sweeps. But what's driving this agenda or this way of policing is numbers.
You've probably never been in front of an immigration officer.
No, I haven't.
If they don't like you and they have the power to decide, I don't like you, denied. So yeah, it's not easy.
On the other side of the camera for many of the stories we've told over the last half hour.
All right.
3, 2.
Is Denver7 photographer Cesar Sabagol.
I was born in Colombia. My hometown is Santa Marta. It's a city in the north coast, front of the ocean. 90, 100 degrees the whole year. My first job was in a news show.
After a full career in Colombia, when Sabagol and his ex-wife, who was from California, began having children, they decided to move to the U.S. and settle in Denver.
Did you have any idea how hard the process would be to actually become a citizen?
No idea.
For years, he spent thousands, filled out hundreds of thousands of pages of paperwork, and eventually hired an immigration attorney.
As you're going through all of this,
Yeah.
you're covering protests.
Yeah.
You're covering stories about immigrants who are facing deportation.
It's hard, because I know that let's say that I'm a privileged guy that I did it like how they expect you to do it. But I feel the other people too, you know. This is not only all the paperwork, not only all the requirements, it's the money too. This is not cheap. I agree with criminals get kicked out. Nobody wants criminals in their countries. I mean, it's sad to see, to be present in those moments where the people is getting captured. You can do anything.
Cesar Dario Salvador Cardia.
Finally, in August 2025, Cesar Sabagal got word he would become an American citizen.
You remember I was shooting something with you
Yes.
when that happened, and you sent the email.
I've worked with you for a long time now, and I didn't really know until like the end of this process that you were going through it, that you were working to become a citizen.
Yeah, like, what if I don't get approved? Like, what the people is gonna think about me, you know? It's, you're a bad guy, you don't deserve this. Or, and I had to come back to my country, as people say, go back to the country. It's not easy. I made a life here. It's not easy to get back and new start and no kids and, you know.
After your ceremony, you come to work eventually, and we like have a little party.
That was a nice moment, kind. Even before, I was feeling all the support, you know, from the people, my colleagues and my friends. I'm proud, happy, relief for being a citizen, for being an American. I love this country, even in this moment of, you know,
turmoil.
Let's say that I'm living the American dream.
A nation built on a dream, built on movement, has become a nation of waiting. Waiting for reform, enforcement, or compassion. This is the waiting state.